So with INEOS approaching their biggest summer so far since joining, I thought, let's get an idea of what's to come by looking at what they've already done. So here I've got a tier list of all of INEOS's signings, and with their first full season over, we're going to take a little look, rank them, see what the success rate is, if you could call any successes from a season like this, and see if they really can be trusted to spearhead the biggest rebuild in Manchester United's modern day history. Starting with Matthijs de Ligt. Also, the hat's on because the hair's bad today. We need a haircut. It's been bad for time. But Matthijs de Ligt. Now, he's obviously been injured now for quite a while. However, prior to his injury, I know a lot of people were really not quite sold on this guy. I thought he was pretty good. I don't think he did too much wrong. He's also still very young. There's a leadership about him. He's got them qualities to be a potential captain one day. I know he captained, I think it was the Ajax's youngest ever captain at like 17, 18, something crazy like that. I like De Ligt personally, but whilst it might just be unlucky, there has been injury problems as of late. I don't really remember the last time I watched him play the full 90. I mean, Jesus. And so for that reason, I'm going to put him in B. It's just kind of middle ground, right? It's a safe one. It's sitting on the fence. I get it. He's a player who I could see both in 2 years we're ready to ship on, or in 2 years we all absolutely unanimously love. We might as well come on to his ex-Bayern teammate and also centre-back partner now, Mazraoui. De Ligt has kind of had the injury issues that I expected Mazraoui to have. Obviously, Mazraoui came in with a bit of a reputation of being slightly injury-prone, but he's actually been flawless pretty much for us. It's a very rare case of us actually signing a player that is injury-prone and them just not being injury-prone for us. To be fair, usually we buy a player that's not injury-prone and then they end up being injury-prone. That's usually how it goes. Mount. But for the price we paid for Mazraoui, what was it, like 12 million? The fact that he's been deployed in, I think, right back, right wing back, he might have played left back at number 10. Centre back, he's been a fantastic centre back in Amorim's system. And I think I read today that his future with Amorim is going to be centre back, which is understandable because whilst he can play right wing back, it's not his strongest position in this system. But thankfully, he's genuinely been one of my favourite centre-backs for us this season. He's been nigh on flawless in that position. For the price we paid for him, for the versatility, he's still not that old. I think he's maybe, if not already turned 27, about to turn 27. That's still pretty young. There's still a good 5 years plus in his body. In fact, I think he might have been the oldest player INEOS signed, which is clearly their business model. I love Mazraoui. I think for the price we paid, absolute steal. I'm putting him in S tier. Talking of centre-backs I absolutely love, Leny Yoro. Oh, Leny Yoro, my guy. I love you, my guy. When we say INEOS want to buy young talent, there is none better in his position in the world than Leny Yoro. He is a magnificent footballer. You know, we often talk about, oh, so-and-so is an ex-regen, or this person's a regen of so on and so forth. Leny Yoro is the closest player to Rio Ferdinand I have seen since Rio Ferdinand, probably. There was that one game against Southampton, I think it was, where, yeah, he did get skinned alive, but I remember Rio saying on his podcast that after that game, he called Yoro, gave him some advice, and ever since then, he's been pretty much nearly flawless again. It's so crazy saying these words and giving this praise when we're 16th, probably going to finish 17th in the league. I get it. But individually, you can see in a player that they're good. And you can see in Leny Yoro, for his age, 18, not long to 19, that he is on course to become one of the best in the world in his position. I mean, there's a reason that Real Madrid wanted him, right? There's a reason we broke the bank to beat Real Madrid to get him, because we knew that he was worth it. And so, yes, for me, he is S tier. I think, unfortunately, we're going to struggle to keep him unless we really start to pick up soon. But my God, when we sell him, we need to be selling him for, especially if the market carries on as it is, he is a 90, like he's a world record centre-back transfer fee. That's what we need. if we are to ever lose this guy. Sticking on the topic of centre-backs real quick, Aiden Heaven, I mean, he only just joined in January. He cost like pennies. I think he was, 1 million, just under maybe. Came from Arsenal's academy with a view to replace Lisandro Martinez. That's happened already. Because Martinez is always injured. And prior to his injury, I loved this guy. Again, I think even though we've had such a catastrophic season, I don't think it's because of our defence. Our centre-backs, at least, have for the most part been good. I think the reason we concede goals is due to either goalkeeper calamities or set pieces. But the actual centre-backs themselves, I genuinely think they have been the one bright spark of this entire team, of this entire system. And Aiden Heaven is the reason for that as well. The few games he has played, he looked great. For his age, phenomenal. But it is early. He has had an injury. We don't know how he's going to come back from that injury. Obviously, he came back against Chelsea, played, I think, like 45, 30 minutes. It was touch and go. He played more like what I expected him to play when he first joined. And so I'll put him in B as well. I think likelihood is he will go up to A pretty damn soon, especially if he refines that form that he had pre-injury. But for now, it is still early days. He has had an injury. Like I said, we don't know how he's going to react to that injury. I think B's fine. Let's quickly also just carry on. Chido Obi, I'm gonna put him in B as well. It's a complete unknown. He's played a few games, but has he played a few games because he should be ready to play a few games? Or is he playing a few games because his striking rival for his position is Rasmus fucking Højlund? I think he probably got a debut earlier than expected because Højlund is his competition. I think realistically, Obi's debut is probably lined up to be more around this time of the year, like final day of the season, final couple of days of the season. But because Højlund was just so bad, I think it fast-tracked his debut by a few months. Obviously, he's 17. He's playing up front in a dreadful Manchester United team. It's not his fault. His cameos haven't been electric, but you know what? His movement's been better than Rasmus. I know that's not saying much. I think me and you, our movement would be better than Rasmus. But I'll put him in B with Heaven because, again, there will be a future you would expect for him. And at the very least, even if there's not, in a few years, you sell him, you make good money, you'd probably get, even if he doesn't do that great for us, you'd expect you'd at least get 10 million plus. So Obi, it's a B tier. Wait and see. Let's carry on with strikers now. Joshua Zirkzee. So I'm caught in two minds with Zirkzee, and I don't know which mind is right. On one hand, as a striker, he's been bad. He has been bad. He's scored barely any goals, barely created any opportunities. He's not got pace to run in behind. But for some reason, me and everyone else are all holding out hope for him to be our saviour up front. Now, again, similar to Chido here, is that because Joshua Zirkzee actually has a future as a number 9 for Manchester United? Or is it just because his competition, the player we're comparing him to, is Rasmus Højlund? I unfortunately think it's more of the latter. Now, I like Zirkzee. I just want to say, you can tell that he is a baller, but he probably does have more nutmegs than he does goal contributions, which isn't ideal. And I get he didn't cost loads, all right, but I just think if I try and sit back and look at this and remember that Rasmus is making him probably look better than he is, I think Zirkzee is definitely a player that if you get a decent bid for in the summer, you do get rid of him. I'm putting Zirkzee in C, which is a shame because I do love him to pieces. Like I said, technically he is fantastic, probably the best in the team technically. He didn't look too bad in that number 10. I wouldn't mind having him as like a backup number 10, number 9 if we really needed to, but I'd rather just get 30 odd million back for him, 40 million. If he just had that little bit of pace, he'd be so much more. Now, I've got Diego Leon here because he is an INEOS signing technically, but literally no idea. No idea what to expect. He could be Heaven, Yoro, who just comes in straight to the first time and we're like, wow, we've found another gem. Or it could be an Ahmad situation where we ain't going to see the best of this guy in the first team for another 4 or 5 years. Who knows? Genuinely no idea. So, I'm just going to leave him there because he is unrateable. But his new left wing-back companion, Patrick Dorgu, we can rate. Now, obviously, like Heaven, he came in January, so he's not had long to really show us what he's made of. And also, he's joined a catastrophic team. But he's young, he didn't cost a lot of money. Physically, he is above the rest of the players. Athletically, he's above the rest of the players, and that's a good thing. That's clearly something Amorim wants. He wants to raise the floor of athleticism within the squad, and Dorgu does that. Do I think he's a talent on the same level as Lenny Yoro, Aiden Heaven? No. Do I think he could have a long career at Man United? Yeah. Maybe not necessarily as a starter in 5 years' time, but he's the kind of player who I could see here just sticking around, always helping out, always putting a shift in, because that's what you know you're going to get with him. So for Dorgu, the jury's out, still only just been a few months, but he is at least the kind of player we should be going for. I see the vision with INEOS. Young, athletic, physical, and not that expensive. Again, I'll put him in a B. Which leaves us with Manu Ugarte. Oh, what do we do with you, Ugarte? What do we do with you? So, I don't mind him. I think he's got a role that he fulfills, but I don't think the role that he fulfills is what this team needs right now. Maybe. He's built a bit of a reputation of being a shin kicker, which I get that, but I think that does undervalue the skill he does have on the ball. People build out that all he does all game is just kick the shit out of other opposition players and lose the ball. He does kick the shit out of other teams' players, but he does have an element of technicality to him as well. He can take on a man, he can ping a pass, but we've also seen that he can be weak in the press. I think if he could level up his physicality, it'd be fantastic. Because right now he is getting thrown off the ball a little bit too often for my liking, especially for someone who ironically has this reputation of being this just scrapper. But I still like him. I think he can have a future here. However, the problem is that he was a lot of money. He was 50 odd million. Aside from Yoro, he was our most expensive INEOS signing, but he doesn't feel like it. Doesn't get a single minute in our biggest European final in years. There is a red flag there, and that is under the manager that made him. Ten Hag didn't even want to use him. We signed him for 50 odd million, and Ten Hag didn't even want to play him 1 minute. And so with Ugarte, there are red flags. And so, like Xerxes, I think if a decent offer was to come in for him, 45 plus, where you can recoup the majority of your money, you do have to at least consider it. And so for that reason, I think he has to go and see as well. Now that we've done with this, would I change anything? We don't have anyone in an A. I think if anyone was to go into an A, it would be one of Delit or Heaven. Either of these two you could put in A, and I wouldn't argue against it. But overall, I think that's a decent tier list. And so, INEOS, do I trust you going into this summer? Well, you've all but wrapped up Cunha, and obviously he's not played a single minute for us, but from what you've seen of him in the Premier League, in a team that is around about the same position of the table as us, you would hope that Cunha is a slam dunk tier signing. We're also linked with the likes of Mbeumo, who I really like. I think Mbeumo is one move away from being world class, and I would love for that move to be to us and not somewhere like Liverpool or Arsenal. So if the Mbeumo rumours are true, sign me up as well. The Delap ones, I like Delap. I've got a friend who's a City fan, and he says that he sometimes wishes they didn't sell him, which only be a positive, right? But he can't be the only striker signing. That's the main thing with the lap. That's what I'm mainly worried about, and there's not been many alternatives brought to the table unless you're signing the likes of Mbeumo to be that number 9. What we can't afford to do with the lap is do what we did with Højlund. I think, was it Benny McCarthy or someone said that Højlund was brought in and wasn't meant to be the starting striker right off the bat. There was meant to be someone else signed, someone a bit more experienced to go along with him. That needs to happen with Delap. Delap can't come in and be him straight away. We can't be expecting Delap to be playing 90 minutes every single game, because it's just not fair on him. Because if it does go wrong like it did with Højlund, it's going to go more than wrong. It's going to go catastrophic. It's going to be a repeat of this season again. Now, the difference is, at least with Delap to Højlund, is that he's not going to cost 70 million at least. But overall, INEOS, I see the vision. I like what you're doing, but I just wish you would also prioritize a tinsy bit of experience, which seems to be what they're doing this year by going for these Prem proven players. So you know what, INEOS? I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a year. Please get it right.